Hello, hello, hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Cinderella phenomenon. So, we know for a fact that Mythros was the witch who was pulling the strings behind the curtain, and he is loyal to Hildur, and he's one of the witches who wants all the bad stuff to happen again. And he wants Lucette to be like Hildur, for reasons. And he's just like, yes, your suspicions were right, he's gonna die. He's gonna die. So, have fun with that. And now, Rod's here, as if by magic! Is this how you really want things to end? What are you talking about? Have you even thought about what your family will feel after they find out that you lied about your curse? You are going to die when Viorica gets married tomorrow, am I right? That is why you told me that there's nothing I could do to help you break your curse. Because there really is nothing you can do to help me. Viorica will never return my love. I already accepted my fate a long time ago. Lady Parfait was the only one who insisted I find another way to break my curse. Because she refuses to give up on you, and I will not give up on you either. Oh hey, it worked! I've been aware of another way to break my curse from the beginning, but I would rather die than do what it is I needed to do. Do what? Have you not read? Rod's voice trails off when he sees my confused expression. He clears his throat. Forget it. There's nothing more you can do. The reason I never told anyone the truth of my curse is because I never wanted anyone to blame themselves for not being able to help me. I was already a lost cause the moment Viorica really fell in love with someone else. I could never take that happiness away from her. Rod becomes silent, his gaze downcast. The vulnerable expression catches me by surprise. You should have told me about your curse a long time ago. How many times must I repeat myself? Telling you about my curse won't change the outcome. I could have tried to help you. Why are you so insistent on helping me? Because I care about you! Aww. My face warms up when the words escape from my lips. Rod also flushes. What are you saying? That... I am worried about you on Emmeline's behalf, of course. Flimsy excuses. I do not want her to think that I let you die. Rod lets out a deep sigh. I am familiar with that tactic. Just stop talking. You are in no position to tell me what to do. Lucette, you're literally wearing a maid outfit. There's a hint of warning in his voice. Now you better let me help you or... Oh! Aww! My words are cut off when Rod presses his lips to mine. That's one way to shut her up. It's only a brief kiss, and when he pulls away, his usual somberness is returned. I told you to stop talking. I can only stare back at him, baffled. Rod, you do realize that you just kissed the princess? Rod looks at Sebby, then at me. His face colors once more. He takes a step back, his lips pressed together. I'm sorry. Without any other warning, Rod turns abruptly and stalks out of the room, and we never get to hear what it was Parfait wanted to say. Sebby falls from his shoulder and falls to the ground, but Rod does not notice in his hurry to leave. I stare after him in shock. I can't believe he just ran away! I walk to where Sebby is and kneel down to pick him up. Are you all right? I'm fine, thank you, princess. Sebby tilts his head to the side. That Rod. I wonder when he will start acting like a man. Suddenly kissing a girl like that is so unromantic. I think about the warmth of Rod's lips pressed against mine and flush again. Rod may not say much, but he has a lot going on in his head. Thoughts he doesn't ever want anyone to know. I don't want to speak on his behalf, but I know he really does care about you, princess. He's just a little standoffish and has a difficult time showing his emotions. He's sensitive like that. Take it from me, I'm always in his head. I care about him too, but what will become of my feelings once I break my curse? I will return to being his stepsister when this is all over. No, this is not the time to mull over such thoughts. I'm sorry for asking this of you, Princess, but can you return me to Rod? That boy is useless without me, not to mention he can't communicate with anyone. The exasperation in Sebi's voice makes me smile. Sebi acts like Rod's older sibling. Of course. Hello? When Rod does not open the door, I knock again. Rod's eyes widen as soon as he sees me. His face flushes a dark crimson. I am here to return Sebi. Rod nods before slowly taking Sebi from my hands. Thank you. Be careful not to drop me again next time. There is a hint of a smile on Rod's face as he taps Sebi's face. Sorry. He looks so much more at ease when he smiles. Rod faces me again with an apologetic expression. Lucette, I really am sorry for what I did earlier. I have nothing to apologize for, so you don't either. I know you did not intend to do that in the first place. The truth is, I actually... He trails off, then averts his eyes slowly to the floor. Suffice it to say, I'm not supposed to feel this way about you. What exactly are you feeling? Yes, you're both aware you're step-siblings. Rod flushes deep red before turning away. Don't ask me such an embarrassing question. The hovering silence becomes more pronounced as we both stop talking. You said you wanted to talk to me about something you discussed with Lady Parfait. Oh, we're actually getting to that? Yes. Great. I meant to tell you that Delora will be here tomorrow to investigate. Now that we know Sir Alcaster is not the witch, we have to start our investigations over. Actually, about that, I know who the witch is. You do? It's Sir Mythros. He's the real witch. Sir Mythros. So when Sir Alcaster was throwing around accusations last night, they were true. Sir Mythros is also already aware that Delora has been investigating the palace. We need to warn her. Then I will send Lady Parfait a quick message. We need to keep our guard up around him too, especially you. I'm sure he already knows that you're the crown princess. I nod in response. Oh, hell yeah, he does! For now, we should wait for Delora to show up tomorrow. But it's getting late. You should go and get some rest. The moment he says the words, I realize he's correct. My eyelids are heavy. You're right. I think I shall take my leave. I am about to leave when Rod suddenly grabs my hand. Again, he likes doing that a lot. I turn to face him. Lucette, this is the first time I've heard him say my name so warmly. I just want to... I can almost hear my heartbeat ringing in my ears as I stare at him with anticipation. But Rod says nothing else. Rod eventually releases my hand with a shake of his head. It's nothing. I cannot help but feel dejected. Good night, Lucette. Good night, Rod. Moments after Rod closes the door, I hear a familiar voice whispering in my ear. Ah, I see. You can become invisible! I jump back in surprise and stare at him with wide eyes. Sir Mythros is leaning casually against one of the pedestals, like a creep. So that is where the prince disappears to every now and then. I had no reason to care before, but now I see it. If my guess is correct, he is also in league with the Lucis bearer. When I do not answer, Sir Mythros smiles and shrugs. Well, it does not matter. I glance around us, noticing the green shield from earlier. Once again, no one will hear this conversation. Now that the prince has confirmed your doubts, what will your next course of action be? You want to help him break his curse, yes? Rod may have given up on breaking his curse, but I refuse to do nothing. From the way Sir Mythros is taunting me, he must know of some other way to break the curse. Rod will not be happy about this, but I need to use whatever means necessary to save him. Do you know how to break his curse, Sir Mythros? Ah, I will assume that you have not read the full fairy tale, if you do not know. Yes, princess, I know. Tell me, Mythros cocks an eyebrow and waves a finger at me. Do you not realize by now how witches work, Princess? I propose a deal. I will help you, but you must help me with something in return. Help you? If you are planning on betraying the king. I have no plans of taking the crown or harming any members of the royal family. What? Then what is it you would want from me? I prefer keeping you in suspense. I do enjoy surprises. You will find out the day after tomorrow. That is your 18th birthday. I look at him, perplexed. Well, why does it have to be on my birthday? That's because that's the day you're the Tenenbaum bearer. Don't worry, Your Highness. What I request from you will also make for a pleasant gift. What do you say? I bite my lower lip as I consider. I am worried about Sir Mythros' request, but I no longer have time. Viorica's marriage is tomorrow, and Sir Mythros has the upper hand. I understand. Good. Now remember, dear Lucette, witches are bound to their oaths. In order for the prince to regain his voice and life, something must be taken by force, just like in the fairy tale. What does he mean by that? Tell me what I must do. Oh, I did forget to mention this, but it is not you who must act, but the prince. What? If Rod could help himself, he already would have done so. Please trust me, Princess. You will have my aid, and I will make sure the prince's curse is broken. Well, if that don't sound as suspicious fuck. Dear, today is Viorica's wedding day, and also the day Rod is destined to die. Sir Mythros explained his plan briefly last night. He told me that he would have a valuable item delivered to Rod that he would need to use to break his curse. He further explained that it was something he would need to use after the wedding. I tried to question him further, but he disappeared before I could, saying that he needed to start his preparations. He's not going to have to kill the poor girl, is he? I do not completely trust him, but I am running out of time and have no choice right now. The royal family has left the palace to attend Viorica's wedding. It is unusual for the king to attend another noble's wedding, but Viorica is an exception, given that she is one of Rod's and Emmeline's best friends. Despite Sir Mythros' assurance, I am still restless. Sir Mythros told me that everything would be all right, that Rod would not instantly die the moment Viorica got married. But why must his involvement be reserved for a time after the wedding? Why does he not act now? Someone looks like they're in a bad mood. Hello, Delora. Hey, Delora. Delora suddenly stands before me, smirking. Her appearance shocks me so badly I nearly drop the dishes in my hands. What impeccable timing. We've heard from the prince about Mythros. No wonder I was iffy about the man. I should have realized he was the witch. Do you know him? Yes, I do. Delora walks closer and places both of her hands on my shoulders. Listen to me, Princess. I am warning you. Stay away from Mythros. Do you understand? That man is a sly devil. He cannot be trusted. I take a deep breath to still my rapidly beating heart. I hope I will not regret asking for his help. Princess, I need you to promise me that you will stay away from Mythros. Yes, of course. Good. For the time being, I will resume my investigation. If I am lucky, I'll find out what Mythros hopes to accomplish. Actually, he's not in the palace right now. He went with the royal family to attend a wedding. A wedding, huh? How unusual. I can only assume that he must be there at the wedding to help Rod. Well then, better make use of his absence while I can. I'll see you later, Princess. Oh, doing me a concern. When I am left to my own thoughts, my mind returns to the issue of Rod's curse. Sir Mythros mentioned a similarity with a fairy tale, which means I may have a chance of finding out more how badly I fucked up. I decide to go to the library when I have the time to pick up the book. I am now on my way back to my quarters with the book in hand when I see Rod walking toward me from the other side. His eyes are fixed on the floor, so he does not notice me as I approach. Rod? He is still alive. Does that mean Sir Mythros has succeeded? Oh, it's just you. Rod's voice still comes from Sebi. The realization instills a deep fear inside of me. He is still cursed. How much time does he have left? Much to my surprise, Rod actually smiles at me. The smile is forced, however, and does not reach his eyes. He looks crestfallen. Obviously, he's not alright. I mean... But do we ask about the wedding, though? That's a bit of a thing. How was the wedding? Is it fine? Is it okay? I quickly clamped my hand over my mouth after I asked the question. Rod just saw the person he loves getting married today. I already know how he feels. I apologize. I should not have asked that. Rod looks at me, surprised. Then, to my shock, he starts chuckling. Why are you laughing? You looked like a criminal caught in the act of a crime. I apologize for trying to be sensitive, Your Highness. Without realizing it, I smiled back at him. It looks like Rod has finally learned to converse with me normally. I hope this will not be the last time I see him smile like this. I'm tired, Lucette. I will now retire for the night. Rod looks at me again and smiles. Oh, that was the right choice? Okay. Good night, Lucette. Without waiting for my answer, Rod begins to walk away. I glance down at the book in my hands, then slowly open up to the last page of the Little Mermaid fairy tale. I start reading from the section where the mermaid sisters explain how to get her fins back. Take this knife. Before the sun rises, you must plunge it into the heart of the prince, and you will be a mermaid once again. I figured. The book falls from my hands and collapses to the floor. I stare at it, dumbfounded. Wait, this means Rod needs to kill Viorica? Then the item that Sir Mythros mentioned earlier, could it be the knife? I need to find him. I turn and start running in the direction of Rod's room, in hopes that I will still be able to catch Sir Mythros there. And we will pick up on this in the next video. So, I'll catch you then. Bye bye! Hello everyone, welcome back to the Cinderella phenomenon. So, Rod either kills Viorica before sunrise, or he dies. And Sir Mythros says, I would love to make sure that he breaks his curse and survives. And one of my theories is that he's got some, like, mind voodoo going on with Fritz/Varg. So he might magic Rod and force Rod to kill Viorica and then be like, this was all Lucette's idea, and then ruin that. Because Mythros is he's an asshole, he's a bitch. So we're gonna try and stop this. When I come to the end of the hallway, however, it is not Mythros who stands by Rod's door. Emmeline? Emmeline is slowly walking in the direction of the throne room. Her movements seem oddly mechanical. I rush toward her. Princess Emmeline, where are you going? Must go to Rod. Why is she going to the throne room? Rod is back in his room. My eyes catch on something shining in Emmeline's hand. The knife. My heart nearly stops when I see that it is the knife. Emmeline, what are you... If he kills his beloved with this blade, his curse will break, and he won't die. It is as if she is in a trance. Is this Sir Mythros' doing? Is she under one of his spells? Ah! Emmeline, snap out of it! Emmeline starts walking again, ignoring me. When I try to approach her again, thinking to steal away the knife, a shadow suddenly comes to stand between us. Varg looms in front of me, smirking. Where did you come from? Let me through, Varg. No can do, princess. Don't you want to save the prince? I look at Emmeline, who has not even turned to glance at us. I glare at Varg, who is still standing in my way, grinning. Step aside, Varg. Ah, feisty. You are a far more interesting princess than your stepsister. I try to sidestep, but Varg follows my motions. I try again and again, but he just thwarts my progress. He holds his hands up in the air, eyebrows raised. Tell me, what would you do if I did let you go? Would you stop him from killing the girl? Rod would never kill her. He would never do anything to harm the person he loves. He refused to do it, and he has no reason to do it now. Varg is silent for a few moments as he considers. Interesting. He steps aside and bows. Go ahead, then. What is your deal? I have to know! What is your deal? I was originally going to put it up to a vote, but no, I can't handle this. I need to know what Fritz's route is about. What is up with Varg? You are letting me go? I would like to see this play end as it may, without any strings attached. Chapter 10. The Mermaid's Voice. So, this is where it all comes to a head. Do we get the happy or the bad end? I'm pretty sure we're getting the happy end, let's be honest. I stop in my tracks when I see Sir Mythros standing just in front of the main door to the throne room. He looks at me expectantly as I approach. Sir Mythros? Good evening, Your Highness. Such a lovely night tonight, isn't it? Only half an hour left before you will turn 18. Do not forget our deal, Princess. Come midnight, I will be requesting your aid in exchange for helping the prince break his curse. I clench my hands into tight fists. Helping the prince break his curse? Rod killing someone is not what I wanted. Sir Mythros puts a finger to his lips. You wouldn't want to attract the attention of the knights, would you? There would be quite a bit of explaining to do then. I glare at him, then take a deep breath and lower my voice. You did not tell me that breaking Rod's curse meant killing someone. Oh, but I am only honoring my end of the deal. Perhaps you should have done your research before agreeing. The grin on his lips never wavers, but I can see the amusement in his eyes. I relied entirely on the story Emmeline told me, and that was my biggest mistake. I should have read the full fairy tale. But now it seems you finally know the full story of the prince's fairy tale. To break his curse, Prince Rod must kill his beloved with the knife his sister has brought him, just like in the fairy tale. Sir Mythros continues to smile at me. I realize that he is speaking slowly, like one might speak to a child. So condescending. No. Wait. I start to realize that Sir Mythros is purposefully drawing out this conversation to stall me. I need to go. Sir Mythros does not stop me when I slide past him to open the doors to the throne room. The first thing I see when I enter the throne room is Rod. He is standing in the middle of the area with Emmeline in his arms. Is she all right? Rod gently places Emmeline on the throne. He leans down to look more closely at her sleeping face, then reaches down to take the object in her hand before he faces me. I can see the metallic glimmer in his hand, and know that he is holding the knife Emmeline brought with her. Where did she even get this knife? He pauses to stare at it, then turns suddenly, eyes widening at some sight in another part of the room. I follow his gaze to the corner of the room, where Viorica floats in midair. Her eyes are closed, and her hands clasped, as if she is just sleeping. Viorica? But how? Such a pleasant surprise, isn't it? Sir Mythros walks into the room with his hands clasped behind his back. You! Good evening, Your Highness. Is this your doing? Sir Mythros just smiles at him pleasantly. Rod only glares back at him. Guards! Sir Mythros clicks his tongue and chuckles. My apologies, Your Highness, but no one will be able to hear you no matter how loud you shout. Not even your witch friend will hear anything through my magic. He knows Delora is here. I glance around the room and notice that Sir Mythros has created his silent green barrier. This is the same magic he used yesterday. Now, let us get back to the matter at hand. You are running out of time, Prince Rod. It would be a shame to see you perish here after the princess went through the trouble of asking me to save your life. Lucette, what is he talking about? The princess didn't want you to die, so she asked me to help break your curse. Sir Mythros spread his arms, gesturing towards both Emmeline and Viorica. And so I have been kind enough to set the stage and gather its actors for what I hope to be a wonderful finale. I can't help but wonder how this fairy tale will end. Why would you do this, Lucette? I did not know it meant killing Viorica, I swear. That is why I came here, to stop you. I told you so many times that there was nothing you could do to help me, and yet you still refuse to listen to me. Because I refuse to let you die! Can you not see that you are important to me, Rod? Oh my, what a scandal. Lucette. I turned to Sir Mythros and stared daggers at him. I asked you to help Rod. Why did you have to involve Emmeline in this? It was a necessary requirement that the princess be the one to give him the knife, Your Highness. It was, after all, the mermaid's sister that brought her the knife to kill her beloved. So that's how she knew about all this. She came here crying and begging me to break my curse because she didn't want me to die. I almost wanted to do it, but I could never kill someone. That is why I will always refuse to break my curse, even if I really want to live. Perhaps I miscalculated. Ah well, this can be remedied. Sir Mythros waves his hand. His fingers begin to glow subtly with magic. Mind voodoo? What are you... Ugh. Rod! A faint green glow surrounds Rod as he doubles over. What are you doing to him? What I should have done to begin with. The witch who cursed him said that he must do this of his own accord, but seeing as he refuses, I am going to have to bend the rules slightly. Rod stands up abruptly and begins walking toward Viorica. The knife in his hand glistens beneath the patches of scattered moonlight in the room. Princess, he's going to kill Viorica! Stop this, Sir Mythros! Where's Delora when we need her? I run toward Rod and wrap my arms around his waist in an attempt to stop him, but whether through magic or his own strength, he continues onward. I end up being dragged behind him. Rod, snap out of it! Rod! I must kill her. His gaze is so glassy and his words so mechanical that he sounds nothing like himself. No! Mythros, stop this! I am ending our deal! My apologies, Your Highness, but not even I can dispel my magic once it has been casted. It will only fade of its own volition, once what needs to be done has transpired. That, or perhaps in the most unlikely circumstances, the prince will simply shake the spell himself. Though Mythros' words are apologetic, his expression is anything but. In fact, he looks almost amused by it all. Not so fast! Ah, Delora! Not so fast! Whatever tone of voice I use for her. A crimson ball of light rushes toward Mythros. He waves his hand through the air, and is barely able to conjure a shield to protect himself from Delora's magic. Delora! It wasn't exactly easy to find you all, especially with the silencing spell. Such a nuisance. That is not important! Help me stop Rod! Frost slowly appears beneath Rod's feet. It spreads up his legs, freezing him in place. I sigh with relief as I collapse onto the floor. My arms are sore with the effort of trying to hold Rod back. Mythros clicks his tongue as he faces Delora. I don't believe you were invited to this play, traitor. Light gathers around Mythros' hand. Moments later, he releases the energy towards her. Delora, in turn, conjures a barrier, successfully protecting herself from Mythros' magic. I always did fancy myself a party crasher. Still, to think that you were alive this whole time. Myth? His real name. He is one of the Tenenbaum bearer servants. I can't believe I didn't recognize it before. It's literally still his name, Mythros. It's just, he's added another syllable. This person was my mother's servant? Yes, he's still in the castle after all this time. How could we have not guessed? Allow me to correct you. I am her only faithful servant. I am nothing like that ungrateful bastard who betrayed her to the fairies. Who is he talking about? Me, Delora! Well, whatever it is you're planning, forget about it. There's no way we're letting you get away with it. Oh, well, do try your best. But first, a reminder. I am the superior witch here. Energy crackles in the air as sparks begin to form around his hand. The spell is taking longer than his other spells. I notice Delora's worry moments before she is able to cast a shield on herself. This is not good. Mythros releases bolts of lightning in Delora's direction. The impact causes both the shield and the ground to shudder. Delora! The smoke clears and miraculously Delora stands unharmed. No sooner has a sigh escaped my lips that another frightening sound echoes across the room. There's a loud crack, and I realize that it is coming from Delora's shield. Everything after that happens in a blur. Delora is still trying to hold the shield up when Mythros casts another spell at it. It shatters, and the magic seeps through and hits her directly. Delora! Really now, have you forgotten the most important lesson in defense magic? Always conjure another shield after being hit by a powerful spell. Oh, I do apologize. Perhaps I did not give you enough time to cast another shield. How thoughtless of me. Delora lays on the floor, unmoving. Delora! I'm about to rush to her side when Mythros moves to stand in front of me with a malicious grin on his face. It will do you no good to be in denial, Princess. How could you? How could you hurt another witch? It is not a crime to destroy a traitor. He looks back at Delora with clear disdain. Then he sets his eyes back on me and raises his eyebrows. It is foolish of you to try and stop this. You wanted this, and I will not allow you to renege on our deal. The prince will break his curse, and you will help me. Help you? Yes. I went to great pains to make sure Alcaster kept you safe just so you could repay me. You said that you made a deal with Alcaster to borrow the knight's assistance. And what would I need the knight's assistance for, dear princess? I never needed the knights. I just needed Alcaster to keep you safe. I would have gotten rid of him myself if I wasn't sure the king would eventually find me. So this whole time you were only trying to keep me safe. To use me? Use is such a simple, ugly word. Remember, I just want you to help me. Princess! I turn around and realize that Dolores' spell on Rod is faded, and that he is now only a few feet away from Viorica. Rod! I force myself to run toward him as fast as I can manage. I will not let you kill anyone! I do not know what I must do to stop him, so I do the first thing that comes to mind. I put myself between Rod and Viorica, just as he is about to plunge the knife into her. Princess! Oh, shit. My body is racked with pain the moment the blade sinks into my shoulder. Ugh! I collapse to the floor and hold on to my injured shoulder. I can feel my blood seeping between my fingers. You fool! You could have easily been killed. I do not care. I love Rod, and I would never let him do something that he would regret for the rest of his life. I cringe. Tears cloud my vision as the pain worsens. Lucette! I feel Rod's arms around me as he cradles me to his chest. I look up at him to see that his eyes are fixed on my bleeding shoulder. Rod looks at me with anguish. He grabs a handkerchief from his pocket and presses it to my shoulder. I can't believe I did this. I stare in shock as his lips move. It is not Sebi speaking, but him. Your voice. You broke your curse. But how? He sank his knife into his beloved. A bright light envelops us, and for a few moments I have to close my eyes against its brightness. I reach out to grab at my necklace, but it is gone. I open my eyes in panic, but the necklace is definitely not there. Lucette, the glass slippers. I glance down to see a pair of smooth glass slippers on my feet. We have both broken our curses simultaneously. It is a joy and wonder. You broke your curse by breaking mine. I hear the sound of shattering glass, and turn to see Mythros staring at a broken vial. What is that? Frost has begun to form at his feet, and is now spreading up his legs. Delora, are you okay? Delora, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Delora? What is happening? Always have a backup, as they say. Seems like you're the one who forgot the basics of combat. Never turn your back on an opponent unless you're sure that they're dead. Your bloated ego does wonders in turning the tide of battle. Delora is now back on her feet and walking towards Mythros. She dusts off her dress as she moves. Delora is unharmed? You. But how? Did you really think I'd forget to conjure another shield? The frost has now made its way up Mythros' neck. Inconceivable! A lowly witch like you could never cast this powerful a spell. Delora gestures at the glass shards on the floor. That's where Parfait's new special potion comes handy. It makes my magic more powerful. The second most basic lesson is to never underestimate your opponent. Looks like you were the terrible pupil. Mythros opens his mouth to speak, or perhaps scream, but by the time he opens his mouth, the frost has completely devoured him, leaving him nothing but an icy sculpture. Delora, Lucette is... Has her bleeding stopped? I think so. I cannot make out what they say after that. My world starts spinning and everything starts to blur, so I close my eyes. At least Fritz is not dead! I feel Delora's hand on my forehead. The warmth relaxes me somewhat. We got you, Princess. Hang in there, Lucette. My body becomes heavier by the second as I lean my head against Rod's chest. And then I feel myself falling into never-ending darkness. When I open my eyes, the first things I see are the soft rays of sunlight seeping through the window. I am in my own room. I attempt to sit up and cringe when I feel a sharp pain in my shoulder. I reach out to touch it, only to realize that it has been neatly bandaged. Despite the injury, my body feels oddly light, stronger than it even was before. I remember, I placed myself in front of Yorica to stop Rod from hurting her. But where did this energy come from? You're now the Tenenbaum bearer! Congratulations! The door opens and Emmeline walks in with a tray of food in her hands. She stops when she realizes that I am staring at her, and nearly drops the tray in her rush to stand beside me. Lucette, you're finally awake! I was so worried about you! I'm so sorry. This was all my fault. What are you talking about? It was mine, not yours. I remember bringing the knife to Rod, but I can't remember much of what happened before or after that. Just when I woke up in the throne room, I saw that you were bleeding in Rod's arms. I thought you were going to... The rest of Emmeline's words break into pieces as she begins to cry. I'm so sorry for forgetting about you. I made you work too hard while you were my personal maid and... I shake my head with a sigh. It was not your fault I was cursed, Emmeline. But... I look at her tear-stained face. She was not at fault, yet she is crying. She really is a good person. I spread my arms. Lucette? I turn away, suddenly embarrassed. It's not like I wanted to hug you or anything. You looked like you needed a hug. Emmeline stares at me for a few moments. I'm about to reconsider when I suddenly feel her arms surround me. I am so happy. I hug her back and stroke her hair. I cannot help but smile at the warmth that spreads in my chest. Thank you. Emmeline pulls back, her face full of concern. What will happen to you and Rod now? I saw how close the two of you had got, and I saw how Rod looked at you last night. Wait, last night? So today is my birthday, and the day I become the bearer. Is that the reason I feel so strangely energized? Oh! Emmeline walks up to one of my doll shelves and picks up the doll that she had placed there months ago. Happy birthday! I meant to give this to you earlier as a surprise before you were... cursed. Anyway, I know it's not as pretty as the other dolls from your collection, but I hope that you like it. It is beautiful. Thank you. I take the doll in my arms and, as a knock sounds on the door. Come in. The door opens and Rod steps inside. His eyes widen when he sees Emmeline. Em? Oh, I was just about to leave. Emmeline slides off my bed and heads for the door, but before she closes it, she turns to us once again. I know how complicated this will be for the both of you, but I want you to know that I will support you. So my lips are sealed. Emmeline winks before finally closing the door behind her. There is an awkward silence in the room before Rod approaches me and sits on the edge of the bed. How are you feeling? It still hurts, but I will be fine. What's wrong? I am just not used to hearing your voice from your own lips. Oh. But I still see that you still have Sebi with you. I've grown too fond of him to completely set him aside. He's helped me through a lot. Bummer, I can't read his thoughts anymore. There was never any need for you to do that in the first place. Is that so? Rod shakes his head and sighs silently. So what happened last night? How is it that you were able to break your curse? You did not kill Viorica. In the original fairy tale, the Little Mermaid could retain her humanity only if the prince loved her back. Though it never happens in the fairy tale, it is still an element of her curse. But still, because the prince never fell in love with her, the only way for the mermaid to live was to kill him. I fell in love with you unknowingly. When you told me you loved me as well last night, that broke my curse. True love conquers all! I feel my cheeks turn warm. Rod coughs, his own cheeks flushed. So there you have it. The Little Mermaid never had a fairy tale ending, but I did. I never had to kill Viorica. But because my curse started with Viorica, I assumed it had to end with her too. It turns out that the person I loved just needed to love me back. I was mistaken. It never needed to be Viorica. I see. We stare at each other for a few moments, the awkward silence returning. I change the subject as quickly as I can. What became of Sir Mythros? Delora brought him back to Lady Parfait. She is the one who will properly punish him. And what of Viorica? Delora returned her to her home yesterday. She does not remember anything that happened. Everything is back to how it was then? You are back to being my stepbrother? I cannot help but feel crestfallen at this truth. Blood binds, but so do sibling bonds. Rod and I can never have what either of us want. I don't want to forget these feelings I have for you, Lucette. If I had never made that deal with the witch, then maybe we might have actually been able to be together. But had you not been cursed, our paths would have never crossed. I reach for Rod's hand. He laces his fingers through mine with a small smile. I love you, Rod. I love you too. But Rod leans forward and kisses my cheek. I know. 1 month later. Ever since I broke my curse and became the new Tenenbaum bearer, I have been training under Parfait and Delora so that I can learn to control my newfound powers. I never wanted this responsibility, but it is a burden I was born into. It is necessary I help maintain the balance between light and dark that has been missing for so long. Now that I am the new Tenenbaum bearer, Parfait wants the two of us to work together in maintaining that peace. Oh, she changed her outfit. That's different even from the princess outfit she had before, right? I do not wish to cause any pain or suffering to the people, especially the people whom I cherish. Cherish. Sometimes I still wonder what Sir Mythros wanted me to do for him, but that is not important anymore. I still have much to learn, but right now as the new bearer, my priority is to get rid of the Fairytale Curse once and for all. For the time being, everyone at the Marchen waits patiently for the day that I will learn to lift their curses. Since everything transpired, my relationship with Ophelia and Emmeline has improved. Emmeline is fond of calling me her best sister, even though I am the only one she has. My relationship with the king, however, has yet to be mended. I am doing my best to open up to him and to give him a chance, but the efforts are slow going. I do not ask why he acted the way he did in the past, but I know that in order to move forward, I must let go of the past. It is finally time. I have been waiting for this all day. There we go. I head back into my room to change my dress into something less conspicuous. Afterwards, I head out into town and into the forest for my designated meeting. It is a relief the king allows me to leave the palace on my own. I would not have been able to come here with the guards. I guess me being the Tenenbaum bearer puts him at ease. If the title reassures him and allows me to come out here on my own to meet Rod, then I am not complaining. Rod still uses the secret passage that he has always used to sneak out of the palace. Emmeline knows about our secret meetings and helps cover for our disappearances if necessary. It makes me happy that Emmeline approves of our relationship, that we do not have to keep it a secret from absolutely everyone. At first, Rod and I both attempted to keep our distance without making it seem too obvious for everyone around us. Though Ophelia seems to suspect something is going on between the two of us, she has not asked questions. Emmeline was not happy with our decision. She said she felt terrible that we would be forced to let go of something so precious on account of our titles. She was right. More than that, it was difficult for the two of us to deny our feelings for each other. In the end, we came up with a solution, even if it is temporary. We decided to secretly meet up in the forest every once in a while so that we could be together without any pretenses, even if just for a little while. When I catch sight of Rod, I run toward him and throw my arms around his neck. I feel Rod snuggle his face into the crook of my neck. May I have this dance? Aw, they're precious. Wait, that's the wrong key. I take Rod's hand and begin dancing to a silent song. The first time I danced with him, it was to prove a point. It was when neither of us even liked each other. I remember this as I stare at him. What? Is there something on my face? I was just remembering how much you hated me back then. Now, here we are. Fate sure loves to toy with us. I smile at Rod. Just for a little longer, I want to be by his side. I do not know how long we can keep this up, but every day, I wish for the same thing. I wish that I can live my life openly loving Rod. I wonder, would that dream ever be possible? Woo! We did it! Yay! Oh, that's another one down. And it means, finally, the other two routes have been unlocked for us, especially Fritz! I need to go on Fritz's route. I have this deep, abiding need to figure out what the hell is going on. Did this get more complicated than the last time we have had this ending screen? I feel like it did. I feel like this is a lot more complicated. But still interesting. Do the ending screens get more complicated the more routes you finish? Or is that just like a... Hi. Or is it just like they have some different ones assigned to each route? I don't know. But the art sure is pretty. The art's very pretty. I appreciate it. Still weird though. You guys still are siblings. Step siblings, but still. I am glad that the story does call attention to that, because that's just been something I've been like, about the entire time. It's just, the story was really good though. I appreciate how the timeline changed and shifted from one route to another, that not the same events happened. The climax wasn't nearly as like heart-pounding, partially because we knew what was going on, and partially just because it wasn't as like, the world is going to end if you don't do this right now. It was more personal, but still, very nice, very good. And with that, come on, Daisuke. Come on, come on. Yeah, mermaid's voice. There's Rod. There he is. Okay. So I'm thinking Rumpelstiltskin is going to be the purple one beside Rod's. And Fritz's is going to be the one beside Karma, because it's got the hood. And so, does that mean he's the big bad wolf? Is that Little Red Riding Hood? Is that what that's supposed to be? Because I know that Waltz is the Peter Pan one, and that's supposed to be like the star for Peter Pan. This deal thing. Anyways. Fascinating. We will go on Fritz's route in the next episode. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye bye!